Hello, my name is Joanne and I am a Co-op coordinator with Laurier. Thank you so much for coming and watching this presentation on the Lazaridis School Co-op programs. Looking at Co-op at Laurier, it does offer students an opportunity to gain hands-on practical work experience to complement their academic studies. It's a competitive application process for certain co-op programs, and I will go into further detail in the presentation. And students will receive academic credit for completion of the Co-op Fundamentals preparation course in second year and for each successful work term. Those who meet all Co-op requirements will graduate with the Co-op designation on their diploma and transcript. Now, looking at the Lazaridis School Co-op programs, we have our Honors Business and Honors Economics programs. So for both of these programs, it is a competitive entry program and it is a competitive selection program with 1 point entry. So students are only able to be admitted into co-op for both of these programs at the beginning of second year. Our double degree programs are automatic entry from high school, and co-op for these programs is either optional or mandatory. And then our business technology management program offers an optional co-op component. And looking at the Laurier double degree programs, so we have our Laurier-based double degree programs, business and computing and business and financial math. And co-op for both of these programs is optional. There is no admission selection process. And for both programs, all of the courses will be taken through Laurier. And then we have our double degree program in partnership with the University of Waterloo, and that's our business and math and business and computer science. And students will complete their business courses through Laurier and their math or computer science courses through the University of Waterloo. And for these programs, co-op is a mandatory component. And now looking at the competitive selection process for our business and economics programs, students will apply to co-op at the end of their first year at Laurier. And if students meet a minimum GPA cutoff or requirement, they will be eligible for an admission interview. And so typically the average is a B+ or in the high 70s. And then when we are assessing a student's application, we are looking at 4 areas equally. And this would be their work experience for the last 3 years, starting from grade 11, volunteer service and extracurricular activities for the last 3 years, starting from grade 11, their overall GPA performance from first year, and how they perform during the admission interview. Enrollment in co-op is limited, and we have offered to approximately 385 of the more than 700 students who have applied in the past. And this slide illustrates the co-op work study sequence. We have 2 sequences, and if you would like further information on the sequences, please do visit our website, and that will be able to provide you more information in detail and potentially answer questions that you may have. And looking at the benefits of being in co-op, there are many, but I've chosen to highlight the ones here. One is investigating and define career choices, and this one is a really popular one with students, and it does offer students an opportunity to try different roles and further clarify what they want to do, what the things they like to do, maybe things that they don't like to do, and help them along their goal setting post-graduation. Develop work-related skills. There's many skills that students will develop throughout their work terms, and including communication skills from written and verbal, analytical and critical thinking skills, and as well technical skills as they do get exposed to and be able to work with different programs through their work terms. The industry contacts that students are able to make while on work term. The students are given an opportunity to really grow their professional network. And we've had up to 60% of our students secure offers from previous co-op work terms. Students will, after completing 3 work terms, at 4 months each, students do obtain at least 1 full year of work experience. And co-op does help finance students' education, as all of our programs are, all of our positions are paid positions. And then looking at the realities of being in co-op. So these are also things that need to be considered when looking at being a co-op student or applying to co-op. There is a financial commitment, as there is a co-op fee when a student is admitted into co-op. And the co-op fee is currently $779.15. And while most students pay the fee 4 times, double degree students with 4 work terms pay the fee 5 times. Relocation, a majority of our employers are located in the GTA, and so relocation is often required. It's important to be flexible, but students will have to consider costs of accommodations, transit and commuting costs. So those definitely will need to be factored in. There is no guarantee of employment, and students are expected to be an active participant in the recruiting process, but routinely our student employment rate has been from 95 to 100%. So we have very strong employment rates, and of course, acknowledging the current situation we've been in the past year and a half, almost 2 years. And although despite a very challenging labor market, our employment rates have remained very strong. Students will graduate later. So students will graduate in the fall instead of in the spring. And then there is the increased workload. So this very much is a reality that many students will attest to, as it is often referred to as taking an extra course. So there is definitely a higher level of workload during the academics terms as students look to secure employment. So preparing resumes, cover letters, applying to jobs, preparing for interviews, and often this may occur during midterms and exams. And here is our latest weekly salary survey for our May to August 2021 term. So this does give you an opportunity to see the range of the salaries that students are offered during their first work term. This does increase a little bit more during their second and third work term, but this is a great illustration on what students may expect in regards to salary ranges. And then looking at employment locations and the areas that students have been employed. As I had mentioned in an earlier slide, majority of our employers are located in the GTA, and for the spring term, we had 70% of our students located in the GTA. Typically, it is anywhere from 70 to 75%. And then in the KW area, 23%. And then outside of the 2 main areas, smaller percentages. And so if a student is looking to secure employment, maybe close to home or in a smaller area, there is opportunities for students to conduct an independent job search. And it would have to be approved and go through an approval process through the co-op office. And although many of our employers are located in the GTA, throughout the pandemic, students have been working remotely, but we are seeing a transition of a hybrid model where students are working remote and as well on site. And I think we'll continue to see a transition to students working more on site. And then looking at the areas that students were employed for the spring 2021 term, the top 4 areas was marketing, management accounting, finance, and CPA. And then some of the other areas, the percentages are much lower. So again, if there's certain industries or type of roles that a student's interested in, they have the opportunity to do an independent job search. And then some of the employers that we work with, we are fortunate because of the reputation of our program. We have built very strong partnerships and relationships with organizations across the board. We do work with all the big banks, the big CPA firms, but as well, we have great partnerships with small to medium-sized organizations and startups. So this does give an opportunity to students to be able to work across a broad range of industries and as well size of company. And then here is an opportunity. We do have a video that's posted on YouTube, but it gives you an opportunity to listen to what students have to say about their experience with co-op. Because there definitely is nothing better than hearing what your peers have to say about their experience of going through the program. So please take a look and check it out. And you should be able to click on a link as well if you would like to see the video. So this does conclude my presentation on the Lazaridis School Co-op programs. Now, if you do have any questions about the program, one is I highly encourage you to please review and visit the co-op website. And then as well, if you have questions, you can reach the co-op office at Laurier Coop at wlu.ca. And we are more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you listening and learning more about Laurier Co-op, and looking forward to hopefully seeing you soon. Bye-bye.